I'm Sugar Rose, and you're listening to Battle Scars. You know, we all have battle scars. Whether you are battling with PTSD or depression, whether you're going through a loss of a relationship, or maybe you're starting over. Maybe you lost someone or something you loved. You could be a soldier coming home from deployment and not sure where to begin, learning who you are all over again. Suffering and don't know how to cope, treated in ways you don't deserve. Do you have an addiction you're struggling with, but you're ready for change? Whatever it may be, you're not alone. That's what Battle Scars is all about. A radio show, a movement, making a difference in the life of others. Too many of you are suffering silently. I can feel your pain. Not to be negative, but over 22 veterans a day take their life. The suicide rate is at its worst. Someone once used the analogy, we're all like a pot of boiling water. If you fill the pot up all the way, eventually the water is going to flow over and it's going to go everywhere. It's going to burn those around it if too close, and those burns leave scars. And not only is it going to burn them, it's going to burn you, the ones holding the hurt inside. PTSD is a disease that not only affects our veterans, but anyone and everyone dealing with some type of trauma in their life. They wear a mask, trying to disguise their pain. But there's no mask you can truly hide behind. I found through research and my own personal experience, people want help. They want someone to hear them or listen or just care. This is the least talked about subject in social media because no one wants anyone to know they are really not okay. More of the majority of people are actually not okay mentally versus the ones that are. Someone needs to stand up and say, I care. Someone needs to be a voice and bring this reality to light. I feel led to listen, to help, to guide, and to inspire others, whether through words of encouragement, life stories, or even testimonies of others. Let us help you through to a more positive place. It only takes one person to care. Let us help fade your own personal battle scars before it's too late for you. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome to another Fill Your Cup Motivational Mondays with myself, Sugar Rose, the People's Patriot Project, and We P3 Radio. We are so excited to have you be a part of our show today and watch, and we hope that you enjoy yourself. So I have a very, very special guest on today. Hinderless 22. I'm going to bring him on in just a moment. Let me just tell you, this man has made an incredible just impact in my life with his story and his testimony and his mission. And, you know, it really is about us all being here for one another. It really is about one family, one mission, one fight. So without further ado, here's Hinderless. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? How's your day been?
Oh, well, it's been pretty good. Busy as usual. Always got something going on.
Hey, that's never a bad thing, right?
That's right.
It's never a bad thing. I'm trying to focus a little bit here that way because I'm streaming on TikTok and I'm streaming on the People's Patriot Project as well. So trying to get it all to situate. It's a fun little technology game, I
Right.
tell you. So I just want to say that I am so incredibly humbled to have you on the show tonight. I mean, I can't even tell you. You know, when you reached out to me a while back, and you said that you felt like very moved by some of the videos that I've done for motivational speaking and for just really trying to help others. And
Yeah.
for you reaching out to me and wanting, me to hear your story and your testimony and your mission and us all, joining together as a big family. I'm just so humbled that I've had this opportunity to actually meet you today and talk with you.
I'm glad to be here. And like I said, I reached out to you and let you know that a lot of the content that you made on your videos was really resonating with me. And I know it resonates with so many other people because there's nobody else out there really talking about these things, and it really needs to be talked about.
Right.
We need to break those stigmas. It's like I tell people, we need to take the talks about mental health out of the back room of the doctor's office and onto the streets for the public, because
Yes.
a lot of people don't realize the epidemic that our mental health situation is in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can't agree with you more. I know just the other day, I had a situation come up where, I mean, I was telling you the other day, I went to go get a tattoo, and I got a tattoo of one family, one mission, one fight on my arm because I like tattoos and
Right.
it means something to me. So I was like,
Right.
I gotta do this. I feel led to do it. I don't know why. Everything I do in my life, I feel led to do. So it's just one of those things. And I get in the chair and the tattoo artist starts asking me, what what does this mean? Why are you getting this on your arm? What does it stand for? And after I tell him exactly what it stood for, he then proceeds to start telling me his story. And he starts, telling me all about who he is as a person and how he suffers and struggles with PTSD and depression, and how he's a 3-time suicide survivor.
Right.
Like he's struggling. That day he was struggling. He was having a hard time. And he's in the chair doing a tattoo on my arm for something so much bigger than any of us all would see. And it blows my mind. It's just, he suffers silently. He's got a lot of stuff going on with internally, with a lot of things, and he suffers silently. And at the end of the session, he said to me, he said, "Thank you." He said,
Yeah.
"I you have no idea. No one's ever reached out to me like that. No one's ever just asked me what's going on." And the one question that I asked him was, probably one of the heaviest questions that you could ask somebody was, what stopped you from doing it?
Right.
What was the reason that you didn't push forward and make your ultimate decision? And he said, because he's somebody, because he is important to somebody, whether it be his kids, his family, whatever it might be. There's somebody out there that needs him. And I was able to talk to him and say, you're right, and right now that person is your somebody,
Yeah.
and you're their somebody. And it Jersey Devil said something amazing the other day. He said, save yourself to save somebody else, and save
Yeah.
somebody else to save yourself. And I mean,
Right.
it is 1,000% true. How that all kind of works together, because you're healing when you help somebody else. And when you help somebody else, they're healing to help somebody else. And it just blew my mind that, I was able to tell him, hey, whatever you're going through, it gets better. You
Oh
don't
yeah.
have to deal with this forever. You don't have to struggle, and you're not alone. And, just the fact that he was able to like have a relief at the end and say thank you and say, you know, I didn't realize that people cared,
Right.
was huge.
It
So
is.
it was an impactful moment in my life, which
seem to be happening more and more often these days. But, it just goes to show that we're all somebody. And
We are.
you never know where God's going to put someone in your path to talk to you. Even
That's
when you're
it.
going to get tattooed, you never know.
Yeah.
But
And that's what I tell people. I'm like, hey, you may not realize this, but you make somebody's life better just by being in it.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Well, so tell us a little bit about you, about who you are, about, how you've come to start Hinderless 22.
well, I could probably talk for hours about it, but
That's okay. You got time.
I gotta cut. I'll cut it down a little bit. My crew they seem to think I talk a lot anyway. So, but our organization we started our nonprofit in memory of my brother Ronnie. He and I were both Iraq veterans. I deployed in 05. He went to basic training in 06, went to AIT, volunteered to deploy, didn't wait for his unit to get called up. He went and deployed, came home. And we talked a lot about stuff that went on over there, of course. And as as time went on, we talked more about resources, mental health, and VA stuff, and different things of that nature. But so we both suffer from PTSD and depression. But my brother was always the kind of guy that he wanted to try to help everybody he could. He was a member of a lot of charity organizations. He always tried to help his friends. He was involved in the church and everything they were doing. So he's always out trying to help people. And I mean, he touched so many people we didn't even know. We were getting people coming up to us and sending us messages and stuff. But in August of 2020, he had a real severe bout with this PTSD, got triggered real bad. And we couldn't talk to him. He wouldn't talk to us. And ultimately, he took his life that day. And of course, after we got through all that, it was a tragedy for him, tragedy for our family. And we decided that we wanted to start a nonprofit organization in his honor. And we started out just wanting to do memorial scholarships in his name and continue on with his ways of wanting to help people. He always said he wanted to change the world. So it's like, what better way to honor him than to try to help others that may need a little help, or, just to help out in the communities. Well, as we started doing this, we released T-shirts. We created T-shirts to sell to raise the money and to raise our funds. And it just kind of took off, especially in our local area. We had so much support. So we got to talking, and I was like, maybe we can do more of this. Maybe we can help more people. Maybe we can get more into helping people with the mental health side of things, because we knew it was such a problem in the veteran community. But not only that, first responders, others in the community that had went through, some traumatic experiences. So we decided to expand our programs out as we started creating them. And we've done things from prepaid Visa cards to some veterans that needed a little hand up, here and there. We've done, what else we've done? We do service dogs. We've got a service dog program. If anybody follows us on Facebook or TikTok, they can see we give away service dogs. We give away the Ronnie McNutt Memorial Scholarship every year at the high school he graduated from. We try to get veterans outdoors. We took some veterans on a free bow fishing trip here back in May. We do a luncheon every year for veterans, their families, Gold Star families, and White Star families. And if you don't mind, Sugar Rose, real quick, I'd like to explain kind of what a White Star family is, because a lot of people have never heard of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've been to town hall meetings here and stuff like that, talking about it. And they're like, what are you talking about? What's a White Star family? So a White Star family is a family that has a service member that has taken their own life. That's a White Star family. A lot of people have never heard of that, because that's one of those things that a lot of people just don't talk about. So we talk about it, and we wanted to do more on the mental health side. So we started spreading more awareness about it. We set up at all kind of local events, some not so local. We'll be in Chicago this weekend, and we'll be spreading awareness. We'll be helping raise money not only for our nonprofit, but for autism as well, because like I said, we love our community too. So we try to help there. We do a whole lot of things and we stay real busy, especially in the spring and the summer when all these festivals, events are going on. We work with some other nonprofits to help them raise money for their charities. Bearded Villains is a worldwide charity organization. We do a lot with them. They're real big supporters of autism and homelessness and all kinds of different charities. And we love being involved in that because it not only gets more awareness about mental health in our country, but it also helps with these other charities so they can help do other things for children with autism, for, all different things. And that's kind of what we wanted to do because that's the kind of things my brother was involved in. He was always trying to help. He was actually a member of the Bearded Villains. So, and all they do is charity work. So that's the kind of guy he was. He'd sit with you and talk with you for 4 or 5 hours if he just thought you had a bad day. And that's the way he was. So we decided, we try to put everything we can from my brother into everything we do with this nonprofit. Even the name, Hinderless22. Hinderless was his social media handle on a lot of social media platforms. So I said, why not call it Hinderless22? Hinderless meaning not to hinder, keep moving forward. So it kind of fit as well as being his social media handle and stuff. But like I said, we do a lot of things, and we're fixing to start a huge project and program on our family's property, and we're going to call it Ronnie's Retreat. And what this is going to be is since we've got this dog program, we're going to have these ESAs, the emotional support dogs. We're going to have them on this property, and some of them will actually be in training to be service dogs, and we give these service dogs and ESAs free to veterans. But we're going to actually start putting tiny homes on this property and try to help get some homeless veterans off the street, others in bad living situations maybe need to get back on their feet, recovering addicts, trying to get back on their feet, give them a hand up, give them a purpose with hopefully getting them involved in training these dogs with us, which teaches them a new skill that they can use to actually make their own income. So, and other than that, we'll work with them with job skills, different job skill programs, help them get benefits they need, and just anything we can do to help them. And all that will, of course, be free to anybody that's there and part of that program. So, because homelessness is one of the other big problems. And I was looking at statistics the other day, and we use 22 a day because it's so recognizable at this point. But the actual statistics say 31 plus veterans a day take their life. Yeah. They don't even have a solid number. They just have to put a plus sign out there because it's gotten so bad. Over 30 a day they overdose on prescription pharmaceuticals. I mean, we got a problem with that in our communities now. And they can't even estimate the homeless numbers. So we try to, I know we seems like it's not going to make a big impact when you really think about it, because you think we're a small organization. We're from a small rural town in Mississippi. But if we can just help those people get in here, no matter how many we can help, whether it's 1, 1,000, 500,000,
that's right,
we're going to get them in there. And hopefully this thing maybe will even grow to where we eventually may have another property and we can add more tiny homes. We can add, farming skills to that, because these tiny homes are basically, they're going to be self-sufficient homes. We're planning on using solar, composite toilets and stuff. So these things will be, you'll be able to run them on anything, on air, hopefully. But we've got a lot of ideas going around. We've already got everything set for that. We're working on getting the land prepared right now. We're marking it off. We've already got people with equipment ready to come over and start doing work. So this thing's going to be a go, and it's going to be a big undertaking. But the thing about it is it's not work anymore. This is stuff that's helping people. It's not a job. And right. We're a nonprofit, and it's not a job. We don't get paid, but we do it because we want to help these people. We want them to know they're not alone.
Absolutely.
We talk to so many. It's like you were talking about a while ago with going and getting your tattoo and talking to the veteran. We get out here and And we're at all these events and we're talking to people, and you hear so many stories, so many stories. And you make a whole lot of contacts and a whole lot of friends, because with social media, you can reach out to each other anytime from anywhere. And that's what's so great. Even if you don't know somebody, there's a lot of times where, I may see some content either on TikTok, Facebook, or whatever. And it's like, it just looks like that person's having a bad day. I'm gonna shoot them a little text. I'm gonna shoot them a little message or something. Check on them. And they may not have had a bad day that day. Their content may have been to bring awareness, but that shows them that there are people out here that do care about them and want to be there for them. It's like, say, one family, one mission, one fight. And especially on the veteran side of the house, once we get out of the military, we really don't know what we're doing anymore, because a lot of us spent so much time there. We lose the camaraderie with our brothers and sisters. So we feel like we don't have anybody to lean on anymore. Because when you're deployed or you're in the military, your brothers and sisters, they're not only brothers and sisters in arms, they're your moms, they're your dads, they're your cousins that you tell your deepest secrets to, because that's who you got. But they're all there, and they're all going to be there for you. So we need to build that camaraderie back up in our communities and let people know, hey, we're still out here. Just because we're not serving together anymore, we're still out here. We're still here for you. And a lot of them may not realize this, but even people like myself and some of these other people with nonprofit organizations, they look at us and they're like, oh, well, these guys, they're smiling, they're doing these things. But it's like the old saying, sometimes the helpers need a little help themselves. So even we have to reach out at times. And I know for a lot of people, that's a hard thing to do. And that's why I try to reach out to others a lot of times. And that's what's going to be so great about Ronnie's retreat, is this is going to give us the opportunity to reach out and bring these people in and show them that we're here, instead of waiting on them to go, well, maybe I should reach out, because a lot of people won't. Right. But we're here if they want to. And like I said, we'll talk to anybody and at any time. But even myself, I reach out, and I've documented that on my social media and stuff, because I have issues myself. And I think a lot of people do. They just don't want to. I think they're afraid when people find out, they're going to be looked at differently. And we need to break that stigma as well. In December, I actually went to a PTSD specific program, because I was starting to fall back into my old patterns. And a lot of times we don't realize when we're doing it. My family is the one that starts realizing it. They start seeing the changes before I do. So they keep an eye on me, because they know when I start slipping. But that's another thing that we're real passionate about, is the families, because the families have absolutely no kind of training in what to do when their family member or loved one is having some kind of issue with their mental health. If they're triggered by something, they don't know what to do. And it's not that they don't want to do something, it's they don't know what to do. So that's why it's really important for us to involve a lot of the families, when we do things like this, with our luncheons and with our events and stuff. So.
And I love that, because it is so true that, like what you were just saying a minute ago, how sometimes you're not even aware that you're slipping back into maybe a darker place, right?
Right.
The people that love you, the people that are around you, whether they be your immediate family, whether they be your brotherhood and sisterhood, whether they be your family that you're building and creating, that says, hey, are you okay? Like, right. Are you really okay? What's going on? Let's talk, because we see, something happening here. And I think that's so important, because, I asked a question on the last show that I did with Dan. I said, what do you do when you slip back into that place where you're starting to get sucked back down that hole? What do you do to get out of it? How do you change your mindset, rewire your mindset, and get rid of that negativity bias so you don't go back down that hole? And, I think that is so interesting, because everybody's answer is just a little bit different, because, we're all different people.
Right.
But I think in the end, having more and more of us people that want to be here to listen, that care, that want to see a difference in you and in your heart and what you're going through, to be able to say, hey, let's find it together.
Yeah.
Let's find a way together to get you from not going backwards all the way. It's okay to back up a little bit. We
Right.
all fall. We all have our moments. We all break. We all lose our shit at times.
Right. Right.
You know, but it doesn't mean we have to stay there.
No,
And
and I think it's good to do that sometimes. I think it's good to have those breakdowns at times, because it lets you unload all that weight that you're carrying. It lets you just get everything out that's been clogging in your brain.
Absolutely.
It gets it all out, and then you start coming back. You start rebuilding a little bit. You start focusing again on what your mission is, or whatever that it is that you're doing, with your hobbies or whatever. But I think it's good that we do have those breakdowns, and I think it's good that we do have people out here, such as, like you and our organization and some different ones that people know they can talk to and they can unload that.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do. And like I said a while ago, even sometimes we need that person, So that's what's so great about what we've got going on now with building this community the way we're building it, because we can reach so many people anywhere, and they can reach us.
Right.
They don't have to worry about if they've got a friend that lives next door they can talk to. They've got people right there at their fingertips.
That's right. Across the state or across the street.
That's
you never
right.
know. You're somebody may not live next door, may not live at the bar, and may not be your neighbor at the grocery store, but you're somebody might, live 3 states away, and that person's going to save your life.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that's just absolutely beautiful about the family. I know one thing that I see all the time on videos that I do, on TikTok and such, because of course TikTok is our biggest social media platform.
Oh yeah.
It is where everybody is connecting and finding each other and finding ways to heal and move forward and finding that family. And I think one of the biggest things I see is, like, if I do a video or duet a video, I can't break down. I can't break down because these people need me. I can't lose it all, because if I do, then I'm weak. Or I can't allow myself to be weak, because then I show my vulnerability. And, I think it's such a big thing that we're all trying to engage everybody in, to say it's okay not to be okay. And it's okay to be weak and not be tough all the time. And, because if you stay tough all the time and strong, and you put on a mask and you don't show anybody what's going on,
Right.
we're like a pot of boiling water. We're gonna blow, and it's gonna go everywhere, and it's not just gonna burn us, it's gonna burn everybody around us.
Oh
you
yeah.
know? And it's coming together as a family is such a beautiful thing.
Yes, it definitely is. It definitely is, because you can't be the strong one all the time, because of what you were talking about. I mean, it's going to boil over.
Yeah.
You can only hold so much.
Yep.
So and there's no reason to think that you have to be. There's nothing wrong with not being the strong one. Sometimes there's times when I take myself out of some situations, because I'm like, hey, look, I'm carrying a lot right now, but I need to lighten this load a little bit before I get on into that. And my thing is, even when I'm starting to get those feelings and getting stressed, and I know I got a lot going on, because and I do, and I bring a lot of it on myself. I put a lot on my own plate. That's just the way I am. I was an NCO in the Army. I took a lot of responsibility. I had a lot of responsibility. I was one that said, I can do it all. And I put a lot of this on my own plate.
Yeah.
And it starts building up. And every once in a while, I have to just step away. I have to step back. I have to put my phone down. I have to get off my computer. I have to get out of my house. I have to get away from all of it, so I can start focusing on myself. And I've started doing what I call self-care Saturdays. And it's not an officially Hinderless sponsored event, because then it just would have so many people, so much stuff involved in it, and I would be in a planning phase. I would be in an operation phase, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
get any relaxation out of that. So I call it Self Care Saturday. And what I do, I got a couple of good friends, and we get together, and we invite anybody that wants to come and have Self Care Saturday. We may go kayaking down one of our local creeks here. We may just go out and hang out at the lake and go fishing. Just something. We all get together, get away from the everyday stress of life, relax, let it all fall out, enjoy the day,
I like
and then we
that.
recharge.
I
And
like that a lot.
it's something that I've really started feeling like is really important, though, is having these self-care days, because it
Mhm.
helps you, decompress, reset, and re-energize.
Yeah.
It lets you shake all that stuff off, because the way I think about it and the way I think about mental health is, the more that you sit in your house and deal with all the everyday stress, it starts letting that depression slip in a little bit more and a little bit more, because you start worrying yourself to death.
Yeah.
And everybody has their things. Everybody has bills. Everybody has different things going on in their life that they let stress them out.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you, I'm one of the number one ones. I do it. But that's why I feel like
Me
those
too.
self care days are so important. And I think everybody needs to take a self care day every week or two. I don't take one every week. I may do it once a month. But those self care days really help me out. It's almost like meditating almost.
Mhm.
I've done some meditation stuff, and I've done mindfulness types of stuff, and they work really well too. The journaling type of things, that they do well to get things out. But my thing is, I want to get away from everything.
Yeah.
That way, I'm not constantly thinking, well, I'll do this real quick and then I'll get back to my self care. But if I'm away and I can't get to that, then I'm going to have my self care day. I'm going to relax, and I'm going to feel better when I come home. You know, so self care is a big thing to me these days. That's kind of how I deal with my things when I start slipping and I start feeling like I'm getting overloaded.
Mhm. I love that idea. I know for me, like I don't do it enough, and I know I don't. I've been told I don't, and because I feel like I want to help the world. I want
Right,
to be here. I want to listen. I want to help whoever needs me, whether I get 500 messages. I want to answer everyone to make sure that everyone's okay.
right,
And I've gotten to a point where, I've broken down. I've gotten to a point where I have struggled and I have sat there and just cried and
yeah,
yelled in my pillow and like, you know, dang it. I can't, I need a break. I can't do all this my
right.
one by myself. And two, it's life is a struggle sometimes. I mean,
It is.
whether it's family, kids, whether it's, the mission, whatever it might be, you've got to have self-care. And I love that idea. And I love the idea of like finding something you have a passion in, whether
Yeah,
it be going kayaking or hiking or going out with your buddies for the day, or, maybe it's counting rocks. Who knows? Whatever you like love to do,
yeah,
to make a way to put that in the schedule. And it's a must, it's one of
right,
those things that you're like, I've got to do this because I need to be healthy for me. And I
right.
need to be able to be healthy for the people around me. But if I'm not healthy, I can't be healthy for anybody else. So
Well,
I absolutely love that.
it's kind of like this podcast show. Fill your cup. Well, you can't pour from an empty cup.
That's right.
So if you
Yeah.
go, you do some self care, refill your cup, then you can pour a little more.
That I like that. Yes, that's very, very, very true. Very true. um, so your story is just incredible. Just kind of where everything came from, and through some really hard things and tragedies and heartbreak, you were able to find beauty in your pain.
Yes.
And even though that sounds like such a cliche, funny thing to say, I always say it. I say that no matter what you go through, whether it's trauma, heartache, loss, whatever it might be, if you're able to find beauty in your pain, which you have kept your brother's name alive, you have kept his honor, you have, been able to stand up and say, I am going to carry the load from here, and I am going to do all the things that you were pushing and trying to do. I'm going to do them for you. And
Yeah.
in that, you're finding so many more people that are coming to you and seeing you and seeing that they're not alone, and
Right.
that they don't have to suffer silently. And even if they're in their worst, stages of whatever it might be, whether it's depression, PTSD, they're not sleeping, they're going through hell, they're in the bottom of that hole, they are seeing that they have a family and that they are not alone, and that something that somebody says, whether it be you, whether it be me, whether it be somebody else, relates to what someone is going through. And more people are starting to see that and starting to come forward and starting to tell their story and their testimony, and starting to, come to you to say, hey, I'm struggling. I
Yeah.
need you to help me through this. How did you do it? And I think that that's just an absolute beautiful thing, that all of us are coming together just to be able to make a change, end the stigma,
Yeah.
change and save lives. And it's beautiful, that's for sure.
It is, and that's, I think that's another amazing thing about it is, you know, and I'll tell people this all the time. So look, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychiatrist, none of that. When I talk to you about my real life experience, the things that I go through, because I relate to what you're going through. Our trauma may be different. We may have different traumas, but I go through those same feelings. I go through those feelings of being worthless. I go through those feelings of not being good enough. I go through those feelings of just thinking I'm never going to make it. I just keep getting more and more, behind and everything. I go through the same thing. And I think that's the whole beauty of knowing that there's so many people out here that they can talk to, because we go through the same emotions. We go through the same things. And it's like you were
Absolutely.
saying earlier about talking to Dan about how he deals with his type of stuff when he feels like he's slipping back. We all deal with it differently, and your story and the way you deal with it may help me start dealing with it better. You know, I may take a technique of yours that you use, and it may help me on my end. So I mean, it's so great, and now things are starting to they're starting to grow. You know, the one family, we're starting to grow. We're starting to get more people are wanting to be involved. More people are starting to talk about it. More
Absolutely.
awareness is getting out there. More people telling their stories, because they're seeing that, hey, it's okay to tell our story. It's okay to talk about what we're going through.
Yes.
We got to break that stigma. We've got to be able to talk about what we're going through, talk about our emotions, show our emotions, not be afraid to. It's not weak. Everybody has emotions. Everybody has feelings.
Yes.
So we shouldn't be scared to show ours.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's so true. And I think it's incredible just seeing more and more, like, tough bearded guys, come through and tell their story. Like with you and with, Sir Veteran Guy and things like that,
Yeah.
coming out and saying, listen, I did this. I made mistakes. I did this. I struggled this way. I went through hell, like
Yeah.
Jersey Devil. Jersey Devil is an amazing, strong mental health advocate. He's
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. But he's also coming out to show others that, hey, I'm not always okay. I
Right.
have times where I struggle, and I'm going to show you those times to show you that it's okay to break down, because it doesn't mean I'm going to stay there. It
Right.
just means that I'm having a rough moment, but I'm not going to do it by myself anymore. I'm
Right.
not going to do it silently. And, so we get all these people that are tough and, you wouldn't think would cry and have issues. And, it's awesome to see that,
Right.
you got grown men saying, I'm not okay. grown men saying that, I'm not afraid to cry. I'm not afraid to ask for help. I'm not afraid to break down and tell you that I'm struggling, because that is a beautiful thing. And I truly feel like us connecting as a family and connecting on TikTok and social media, it's actually it's breaking that stigma that
Yeah.
you don't have to be like this. And the more of us that get out there and say, hey, this is okay, whether man or woman, like I'm a woman that I'm a huge advocate for men's mental health. And
Right.
that's just something I've always done. And I'm also an advocate for women and everybody, but I'm I'm a woman standing up for men saying it's okay to be not be okay. It's
Yeah.
okay to be not, to not be tough, and to have it come from, I guess, my side of things, to say it's okay. We
Yeah.
all have emotions, we all have feelings. And then to have it come from a strong man's perspective, like yourself, that's like, hey, man, it's cry on my shoulder. Come
Yeah.
over here, and like, you want me to sit next to you all night? I'll come sit next to you all night and I'll listen to your story. And it's an incredible, beautiful thing. And
Yeah.
it blows my mind because, you know, so many people, I think, are aware of the awareness now, right? Because
Right.
since COVID and everything else, mental health has become the forefront of everything. Um,
Yes.
PTSD, depression, anxiety, all of it's raised. Unfortunately, the suicide rate, it is up, and
It is.
it's a really hard thing to swallow. But we have been trying to spread awareness forever, right?
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
now it's like, and this is something that Mark said amazing with the People's Patriot Project, is that we're done spreading awareness. We are making a movement now to
Yes.
physically get out there, boots on the ground, and face to face with you, hug you, touch you, whatever it might be, to say, you know what, you're not alone, and you're not
Right.
going through this by yourself. And if we have to drive to come sit next to you all night long, we'll find somebody in your state to come sit next to you and be with you right at this moment. And I
Right.
think that is just an incredible, incredible thing that we as a family are coming together to do that. So,
Yeah. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. I mean, and like I say, it's social media. It can be a not so great thing sometimes, but it can be an amazing thing because that's what's bringing all of us together. That's what's
yes.
bringing this whole movement forward. That's
Yeah.
what's breaking the stigmas, and
Hmm.
that's what's helping people to reach out to others and talk about their stories, talk about their experiences. It's helping so many people,
It
and
is.
it's like one of the videos I did back, I don't know, probably in May, maybe. It was a video, a couple of things that we'd done in May. We donated a service dog, the bow fishing trip, and the scholarship we gave in May. I said, this is what we've done in the last 2 weeks because I want people to know what we're doing. If they're buying our merchandise or making donations, I want them to know where this stuff's going, where the money's going for.
Right.
So when we do things, I try to put it out there on social media. And at the end of the video, I just put uh, not just talking, but doing. What will we do
Mhm.
next? You
Yeah.
know, and that's a big thing. There's so many people we can talk about it as much as anybody wants to, and I love talking about it because it helps to break that stigma. But if we're not doing anything about it, then the talking is not really helping that much.
Very true. Very true. And that's the one thing that drives me more and more and more and more to really like get out there and just be able to be at the forefront, to meet people, to talk to people face to face,
Right.
hug people, you know, maybe 6 foot distance sometimes if it's needed. But we air hug. But
Right.
like, it's so important to physically be there for me.
Yes.
And I think like we can do so much behind a screen, and
Right.
we can be a voice and we can be an encouragement, but to like physically be able to be there, or be able to say, listen, I know you're struggling. I'll have somebody there for you in an hour.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing, amazing thing that we're able to do.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about social media because we can, if we have somebody, just say, I'm in Mississippi, and somebody from Texas just inboxes me, reach out to me, because they don't know where else to turn to. I could say, okay, who do I know in Texas? Who do I have on here in my network family here
Yeah.
that's in Texas? And I can shoot them a message and say, hey, can you get up with this person? They really need somebody to talk to, or they're just feeling lonely today. You care to hang out? You got anything to do? That's what's so great about social media. But it's like you say, one of the greatest things about this whole movement that I love is I get to talk to people. I get to meet people. I get to, you know, and I go to some small town events. There might not be 300 people there, but I get to talk to all of them if I want to.
Right.
I get to let them know what's going on in our country with the mental health issues. I let them know what we stand for. I let them know the people that we build this family with. Yourself included. I've told some people, that hey, me and Sugar Rose, we've done some talking. I think it's a really good thing. One family, one mission, one fight. I told them check you out and all that stuff because you got some good music out there as well that brings awareness to mental health. So all these people that we've networked with and we've started making this movement with, that word spreads from where you're at to where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
So it creates this big, huge network. It creates this whole new family. And I mean, really,
Absolutely.
that's what it is.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes changes happen. That's what changes things. That's what helps things. You know, like you say, we can sit behind computers and phones all day and talk to people, and that's great. But I'm more of a, hey, let's get face to face.
Yes.
I met with a veteran yesterday face to face that I talked to on social media for the last 6 months, and it was it wasn't that I just went and talked to him. I had a lot of stuff I was doing yesterday. I spoke with you yesterday, and I told you, I said, hey, it'll be this evening. I'm moving dog pens for a dog program, moving some dogs. And I told him, I was like, hey, look, I'm doing this stuff today, but I'll come meet you when you get out of church. And I'm gonna bring you out to this property and we're gonna talk. And that's what we did. And that was a great thing. I could have talked to him on social media forever and never met him.
Right.
But for me, it was better for me to be able to see him, let him see me, and let him know what we do and what's going on.
Right.
And he was a veteran, 100% DAV, and he was really glad to meet us. And also, when you talk to people like that, a lot of them, they want to get involved because they don't know these things are going on.
Mm-hmm.
And people just love to get involved any way they can, whether they're a veteran, whether they're non-veteran, any way that they can help. A lot of them will because they don't know the issues that are going on in our communities with mental health. They don't know these things because, like I said, it stays in the back room of the doctor's office.
And she would go through them and file.
Very, very true. And I know, I think that's one thing that's been amazing is that, like, especially on the TikTok social media handles and things like that, we have a lot of people reaching out saying, I want to be part of this family.
Right.
I need somebody to talk to. I need someone to just listen to me. I just need a family. I need someone to just show me that they care,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's amazing that we're growing more and more people into this family.
Right.
And there's been a couple people that have followed for some time, and now they're like, how do I become part of this family?
Right.
What do I do to make a difference? How can I be a help? How can I help somebody else? And I love it. I love it. Love it.
Oh yeah, I do. I really do because it shows that it shows that you're making a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It shows that others are starting to notice this and they're starting to notice these issues and they want to get involved. And that's what's so important about getting out here and actually seeing people, talking to people, shaking hands, giving hugs. Because like I say, a lot of people don't know that these things are going on. And even in their own communities, they don't know. Because it's the last taboo in America.
Yeah.
Mental health is the last taboo in America. You can talk about anything else, but nobody wants to talk about mental health. but people are starting to see that people are talking about it. People are doing stuff about it.
Yeah.
Now it's starting to open people's eyes a little bit. They're starting to want to be involved in this because they see what good that these things are doing that we're out here and doing,
Right.
So
And I was actually driving to Indiana this weekend, and there was a sign on the side of the road as I was driving that says "You matter."
yeah,
And I was like, that's awesome that
right,
people are reaching out and they are seeing that there is an issue. They are seeing that
I got him
people
some.
need people, and a sign is just a sign, right? I mean, it's a sign. It's not someone saying to your face, "Hey, you matter," but it's the start
but it
of
gets attention.
getting attention. Yes.
It gets attention to start the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
to keep the movement going,
Yes.
to build the family and build the movement to where you can help more people. And that's what's so great.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I do a lot of my videos, I do you matter videos. You're enough. You're worth it. You're somebody. And I do them over and over and over again because you never know who's going to be seeing it for the first time.
Right.
You never know who crosses that path that needs to hear that they matter.
Yeah.
And I think I just think that our 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 family is just growing into something amazing, and it's just getting bigger and bigger, and pretty soon we're going to take over
That's right.
the whole mental health community, and we're going to stomp this shit out.
That's it.
And find
That
ways
is it.
to heal.
And I'll tell
And
you,
it's
this family's growing with some amazing people as well. I mean, people that really genuinely are in it to do good, to help people. And that's what's so great about it,
yeah,
because, sometimes, you wonder about some people, but you've got so many here that really, and you can tell who they are.
yeah,
You can tell
yeah,
people that really want to help, people that's really trying to help. We've met so many, and I think it's awesome. I think the people that are growing with this family are some amazing people that do some amazing things.
absolutely. And hey, making a difference one day at a time,
That's
one
it.
person at a time. And like you had said the other day, if we all have the mentality it takes just one person to change the world, we're going to become something just absolutely amazing. And
Yep.
it's going to bring a lot of healing and a lot of light and a lot of love to a dark world.
Right.
And I think it's beautiful.
That's it. It is. It is. I mean, the thing is, it's humanity. And I think that's lacking a lot these days. Everybody gets so wrapped up in everyday life. Everybody gets so wrapped up in I've got to do this, I've got to do that, that humanity's kind of slipped to the side. So people haven't helped take care of each other like they did back years ago. And I'm getting I'm a little older, and I can remember a little farther back than some people. So, and it was all about neighbor helping neighbor.
Yeah.
And that's kind of fell to the wayside with the way
I'll
society is now.
You're right, because I don't even know my neighbors other than the watch list on
Right.
social media. We won't talk about that.
And that's what I say. I can remember when somebody was having some kind of issues. I can remember when neighbors from 2 and 3 miles down the road would come to the house.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, they
pie or cookies or something.
Yeah, brought you a dish to eat. Even if you just had a cold, that's the way it was.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's fell to the wayside. But I think with the way this family's growing and the movement it's taken, people are starting to get back to that a little bit more. They're starting to realize that, hey, if we do all work together and we do have some of the same common goals, we can make a change.
Absolutely.
We really can.
Absolutely. And I think, honestly, it's bringing a sense of hope back to the world, to people that are in their darkest times or feel alone or feel like they're not enough. Us coming together as a family and reaching out and saying, making the videos and talking to people and making appearances and being there in person, it's giving people a sense of hope that there's still love here. There's still good in this world. As
Right.
much shit as we're going through with
Right.
so many different things, there is still so much beauty in this world, and people, there's beautiful people still,
Yeah.
and there are, kind and loving people, and there's love and light still here, and that, no matter what, our story's not over yet.
Oh no. No.
It's we have till God makes the decision to take us home. We have time to rewrite our story and
That's
to
right.
rewire our soul and to rewrite our future with whatever we want it to be. And heal and start fresh, because we can always rip out the old pages and start writing new ones.
That's it. That's it. And we've all got a purpose. And I know that's a big thing with a lot of people. They think they don't have a purpose, but everybody's got a purpose.
Absolutely.
And I tell people, I say, look, if you don't think you have a purpose, hey, call me, message me, inbox me, and I'll prove you wrong. I'll prove to you got a purpose.
That's right. We'll find it.
Everybody has a purpose. I mean, some things only certain people can do and take care of. And that's why we're all different. So we all have a purpose.
Yes.
And we all have something to give to the world. We're all important in this world. And people seem to forget about that sometimes, because they feel like they're all alone, and they're not. So, never. I just don't want people to think that they don't have anything to offer, because everybody has something to offer.
Absolutely.
And there's so much beauty in this world that they can contribute to and that they're part of. And that's amazing. That's why everybody's so different. That's what makes it so amazing. And just being different sometimes, that is your purpose. I mean,
that's true. That's right. It could be something really tiny. It could be something huge. It could be something in the middle. And I think that it is incredible, because I truly 1,000% believe that we all have a purpose here. We all have a reason for being here and a mission bigger than we know.
yeah.
And sometimes we have to go through the hell and the shit and the worst of the worst of the worst, and be in that dark place where we find our light, where we find our reason and our purpose, that we've already learned these lessons and gone through this pain and dealt with this situation. So now we can come out of it and we can say, okay, this is why. And sometimes you got to lose everything. I had to lose everything to find my purpose.
Right.
I had to go to the bottom of the barrel with nothing, and everything I worked my life off for taken away from me, because our plan isn't our plan.
Right.
And even when we feel like it is, even when we feel like things are at their worst and we're losing everything that we've ever worked for, our mind, our body, our soul, our material possessions, whatever it might be, there's a reason.
Yep.
And there's bigger purpose behind it. And that's where I found my purpose, is down at the bottom of that hole.
Right.
And it's not how everybody finds it, but
Right.
sometimes you have to go through all that ugly to find the beauty.
That is the truth. That is the truth. I've been there. Actually, before I went active duty military, I mean, I was hitting the bottom myself. Things weren't going good. I was working a regular job in a furniture factory. Furniture factory started closing down in our area. There was no work in our area. Like I said, we live in a very small rural area in Mississippi. So, banks were calling, bill collectors were calling. I was like, hey, you're just going to have to come get your stuff. All I can tell you, I don't have it. And we lost down pretty bad. I mean, we were actually lucky. We didn't think so at the time, but we were lucky because we could afford our house. We had a car. But then I went active duty, and that got me back on my path. I'd lost my way because I didn't know what else to do then. But once I went active duty military, that got me back on my path. Now, once I was retired, because I was medically retired in 2020, And I'd planned on 3 more years, but I spent 23 years of my life in the military, so I didn't have a clue what I was going to do. So I kind of stumbled a little bit there, went through a little rough time, but then I got back on track a little bit, and it was right as COVID was shutting everything down, so I couldn't even go get a job.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have no clue what I'm going to do. But I kept on, I hung in there. I hung in there, started digging my way back out, and it leveled off, started leveling off. And I mean, I'm by no means a wealthy person. I don't have the greatest life. I don't, I don't take vacations in Hawaii and stuff, but we manage well. We manage well. And once you start digging back out, your priorities become a little different at times. And I think that's where we start finding more of our purpose. And I think that's where we start finding ourselves again. Because when we let ourselves fall apart, sometimes we lose track. We lose who we are.
Yeah. Oh,
We don't
absolutely.
realize it, but we kind of lose who we are. We forget who we are. We don't lose it. We forget. But once we're climbing back out of those hard times, we start remembering who we were. Because we knew that before we had already built what we were, but we just hit a rock and we just hit a hard spot there. It's nothing but a step to us. It's nothing but a step. And I wish more people would look at it that way. And I had a hard time thinking about it like that. It's just another step in life. It's nothing that's, it's nothing that's going to really, I don't really know how to say it. Hey, sometimes with my PTSD, sometimes my brain doesn't click as quick as some people's. But
That's okay.
so sometimes I forget words. Sometimes I forget half a sentence. But anyway, it's not something that for you to make a permanent decision for when it's only a temporary situation.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. It's just a step. It's just a bump in that road. And we can all come back from that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always like to say, you're not broken. You're just a little bent. And
That's right.
even bent straws still work,
Yeah.
And you're not lost. You're just a little misplaced. So you need a
Right.
little guidance back onto the road, back onto the street.
That's
Maybe not the street, but the yellow brick path.
Right.
But yeah, that's very, very true. Very true. And that's right. We all have a purpose and a mission and a reason for being here. And your mission is you're here to save people. You're here to open hearts and eyes and, heal people and help people to see that they have a purpose and they have a mission and a reason for being here themselves. And I just think that's absolutely incredible.
That's it. And I'll tell you, a lot of these people, they may not realize it, but they're what keeps me going. They're what keeps me tracking on my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody out there feels like they don't have a purpose, trust me, you're my purpose, and I'll be yours.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree with that 1,000%. I think there's been times that I have wanted to give up because I just felt like I wasn't being heard. I felt like nobody was being helped. Nobody was listening. And there's times that I was, thought about moving and giving up my music career and giving up everything because I was just hitting wall after wall after wall. And I felt like I wasn't reaching people and because nobody would really message me or comment or whatever it might be. And then every time I had one of those moments, every time I get a message from somebody, a random person that says, I don't know if you know me or not, or I don't know if you remember me, but 6 months ago, you reached out to me on Facebook because I was having a bad night and we don't even know each other, but you checked on me.
Right.
And I wanted to let you know that night I was going to take my life. That night I had been drinking and I was going to make the ultimate decision to end my life. But that night I decided to get sober. And that night I decided that my life was worth more. And that right there is my purpose. It is the reason that I will never give up on anybody. And I will never, even if there's times where people don't reach out as much or maybe life didn't work out like I thought it was, or a plan didn't work out like it was supposed to, I will keep reaching out till the day I don't have another breath in me, because I know wholeheartedly that it's why I'm here. It's my mission, it's my purpose, and that's why I got tattooed on my arm, one family, one mission, one fight, and I got the little semicolon with it to say, your story's not over. And no matter what, we're all going to go through doubts. We're all going to go through times where it's tough. We're all going to go through times where we feel like we want to give up and we want to throw in the towel. But, we are here for a bigger reason and a bigger purpose to change and save lives. And so there is no giving up.
That's it. And
No matter
it's just like we say, nobody fights alone.
That's right.
We'll battle through it with you.
That's right. That's right. But we'll take a weekend break, like you were talking about, because it's very important to have that self time. I definitely agree. A couple questions just for you is that you got some amazing merchandise, like your Hinderless 22 hat, and I love the shirts. I love them. I think they're awesome, and just the message is beautiful. Where can people find your website, your merchandise, be a part of, your team and things like that if they're interested?
Well, they can go to hinderless22.org. You can hit the little drop down box and click on store, and it'll take you to our merchandise, which will be our online store. They can go there and they can read our story. They can see some of the things we do. Right now it's a little outdated right now. We're fixing to update the whole website again to add some things, because things have just been moving so quickly here the last few months. But they can check all that out there. They can see some of the things we do. They can meet some of the people on our Hinderless 22 crew, a co-founder, merchandising agent, program coordinators. And we've got a few more to add to that as well. So that needs updated. But they can find out everything that we've got going on, our story and our web store there. There will be some new merchandise going up sometime this week in the web store that hasn't been released yet.
Woo! I'm excited.
I like to call it merch with a meaning. And but yeah, we've got some new things, because we're always trying to think of different ways and different merchandise that people would like to have, like the t-shirts. We try to think of something that's gonna help send the message, but people will like and will wear to show the message, to make them want to be involved. And like I said, we're 501c3 certified nonprofit. Every penny that comes in through merchandise sales or through donations goes straight to the mission. We don't get a penny of that money. We don't want a penny of that money, because that's not why we do what we do. If we want to do that, we would have started an LLC for-profit business, and that's not what we want to do. We're here to help out. We're here to help others, and anything that we bring in goes directly to helping others. But we got some new merchandise that'll be going up this week. A few things that hadn't been released yet. A lot of times we'll have some new merchandise that we'll hold off on uploading to the web store, because we'll actually release it in our private Hinderless 22 Ronnie McNutt Facebook page first for those supporters there. And we'll actually take them to a couple of events before we actually load them in the web store. So in saying that, it's kind of like saying, hey, you guys come on over to the Facebook page and come out and see us at some events, and you'll see some new cool stuff that helps veterans.
I love it. That is absolutely amazing. Well, now I know one other thing I was going to ask you about in the very beginning of this conversation. We had taught you were kind of telling your reason for starting Hinderless 22. And you said something about August of 2020.
Yes.
Is that the anniversary?
Yes, that is the anniversary of my brother's bout and taking his own life. So that anniversary is going to be coming up, and it was, it hit almost twice as hard when it happened, because it happened on August 31st Suicide Awareness Month is September. September 1st was the next day. And so it was kind of like that. I just don't know the reason it happened that way. And nobody knows the reasons. There's always going to be questions. But yet the anniversary is coming up in August. So we'll have most of the time on the anniversary, we get with some of his friends and we kind of get together and have a type of celebration of life for my brother. And we tell funny stories about him and different things and all the great things that he was involved in and stuff like that. So we remember him the way he was. And on August 31st, he wasn't him. And a lot of people don't realize that either about mental health, PTSD. When that gets triggered, it changes your whole way of thinking. You're not you. And PTSD actually changes the way your brain works. It's not just a chemical imbalance, or it's not just a reflex action. It actually changes the way that your brain is wired. And that's the reason we preach so much about self-care, getting out and getting more involved in something you like, because you retrain your brain. But so that's another big thing that we do is a lot of people just know my brother from that night, but they don't know who my brother really was. So we like to tell people who he really was. And he was an awesome guy. Of course, we were brothers, so we picked at each other a lot. We might have had a few words here and there, but that was just the brotherly love. We always hugged and told each other we loved each other before we left each other. So, he was one of a kind. I mean, he was a gamer. He loved Comic Cons and all of that stuff. He was a tech guy. He loved his computers and different things. He loved podcasts. He loved social media. I mean, it was anytime he was around his computer, he'd be on social media or online gaming. And we talked to so many people that he did online gaming for that are from different places. I had an apparel company reach out to me, a small apparel company one day. It was like, hey, we'd really like to talk to you about some stuff. So I gave him a call, and it's like, and the name is SINA, SINA, which just stands for Success is No Accident. And it's just a couple of guys got together and wanted to, sell a couple of T-shirts for their game and stuff. He's like, we used to do online gaming with your brother. And I was like, where y'all from? You're like, well, we're in Michigan. I'm like, my brother's never been to Michigan. So we met a lot of people because he was always doing something online or in the community. And it was really overwhelming at all the people that reached out to us, because we had no idea he knew so many people or touched so many people's lives, Right. And he had helped so many people. And we heard so many stories about, hey, I was really down and out, and Ronnie brought me in, let me stay with him. He fed me and helped me get back on track. Different stories like that. And it was amazing. Amazing. He was a great guy, an amazing guy. And anybody that knew him will probably tell you that, But like I said, we want to make sure that the real Ronnie is known and not just the Ronnie from that night.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think it's just so honorable, everything that you're doing. And it kind of blows me away. And the reason I asked you about that is, like, I felt led to write that song, One Family, One Mission, One Fight. Right. And a year ago, I wasn't a songwriter. I just wasn't me. I don't know. I just, my life changed overnight. But I have it releasing 8/22 of 22. And you told me the other day, you said, stop 22 with one family, one mission, one fight, which is exactly what we're doing. And it blew my mind to think that I didn't plan that. Like, I just put that date because I don't know why. The date just stuck out to me. So I put that date, and it is exactly to a T everything that we're doing. We're stopping 22 a day. We're fighting to make a change in this world. We're fighting to be one family coming together, because we can't do this alone. And our
Right.
mission is to save lives and change hearts and open people's eyes to their purpose and their reason for being here, and to help them to get over that negativity bias and find themselves. And one fight is that war wasn't fought alone, and PTSD is
Right.
a war. You know,
Yes.
it wasn't fought alone on the battlefield, and it can't be fought alone now.
Nope.
And we're all fighting this fight together. And the more and more and more of us that get together, the stronger we're going to be to defeat this enemy, you know.
Right.
And I just it kind of just blew my mind when you told me just at the beginning about the August. I didn't realize that that was the anniversary, and so
Yeah.
that just means even more, like, you know, whether one person or a million hear that song and feel touched by it, then I'm honored, you know. But it's just, there's no mistake that song is being released on the 22nd
Right.
of the 22 for no reason, you know.
Yeah, and that's why I was telling you the other day. I was like, yeah, I don't think that's a coincidence.
Yeah,
I mean, that's fate.
it is. God always has a strange way of doing things. That's all I say. I don't always understand it myself, but it was just absolutely incredible having you on this evening. And do you have any, you know, closing words or anything else that you'd like to talk about today before we finish up this evening?
Well, I just want people to know that one, they're not alone. We've talked about most of it during the show, but I just want them to know they're not alone. It's not weak to show your feelings. It's not weak to reach out. Uh, and when you reach out, nobody's going to know. I mean, nobody's telling who's reaching out to who. I'll tell you who that I reach out. I'll tell you that, but everything's confidential when you talk to any of us, and it's okay. Hey, you reach out, you'll make a new friend. I promise you. Hey, you may want to have a get together. You may want to go kayaking together for some self care. You know, I mean, don't be afraid. And even if you're not having a bad day, you just feel like you got nobody to talk to, get with us. We don't mind.
Absolutely.
We don't mind at all. You don't have to be having a bad day to send us a message or talk to us about anything. So we're always going to be here. And, we talk about, we got your six, stay hinderless, and that's what we mean. It's not just a catchy slogan is what I'm saying. It's not something we just feel like is a trend to get, IGY6 tattooed or something. It really means something to us. And that's what we're out here doing, is letting people know that we do got their six. And hey, come on in, join the family, because it's growing, it's making a difference, and you'd be amazing at the things that you would learn and see and get to do.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was an honor to have you come and tell your testimony and your story and your mission. And y'all definitely need to go follow Hinderless at hinderless22.org. Find out more about his story and their mission, and everything that they're doing is just a beautiful, beautiful thing for people. But I just want to thank you again personally for coming on. And it was just an absolute honor to be able to talk with you and find out even more about your story that I didn't know already. So that was pretty amazing. And
Well,
everybody,
thanks for having us on, and us, and I also just want to say, with Hinderless 22, our nonprofit organization, I just want to make sure people know that it's not just me. It's not just me that started this and all this. I have a whole crew. Our family created this, and it takes more than me. Trust me. And I got a really good crew behind me here that do a whole lot of the work, because they say I do too much talking sometimes, so they end up doing the work. But that's great, because we all work together, and it's been really good. We've been able to do some good stuff, and now, like you say, our family's growing. We've met you, Sugar Rose, and Jersey Devil, and several others that are really great people, really on the mission, and I'm telling you, things are starting to change. There's been more light shed on a whole lot more things, and I believe we're gonna change the world. I really do.
I believe it too. I'm right there with you. I don't know. I feel it. Just something in the air. There's so much change and things going on. So much more light just being spread in. It's a
Yes.
beautiful thing for
Yes.
sure.
But yeah, thanks for having us on. Thanks for letting me tell our story and talk about some of the things we do. And it's been really good. It's been really good because it's more of an outlet. It's more of a way of reaching people.
Absolutely. Well, we're so glad that you came on tonight, and I just want to also thank the People's Patriot Project and We P3 Radio, because without them, I wouldn't be here right now. being
And I
able to
wouldn't be
do
here
this
on
with
here.
you. So I have to give big shouts out to everybody that's involved with the People's Patriot Project, because y'all are amazing for being able to give me this platform for Fill Your Cup Motivational Mondays, to be able to bring amazing guests like yourself on. And it's an absolute honor to be able to do that. And I just wanted to thank Semperfi Design for helping me kind of create everything with my website. If y'all need website work, Semperfi Design is amazing. They have done so much wonderful work for me. And I just, really want to just thank all the listeners that are out there this evening. And I want you all to know that no matter what, you are not alone. And we are here for you. We're here to listen. We're here to be your friend. We're here to be your family. And we're not just here when you're struggling. We're here all the time. Just like Hinderless said earlier, we are here for you at all times. We're here to listen and be that ear or that shoulder that you need. And so we hope that you all have an amazing, amazing rest of your week. And remember, it's Monday, one day down, closer to Friday. So we're getting there. But I thank you guys all so much for just being a part and listening. And the people on TikTok, thank y'all for being here and listening as well. You guys are amazing. I know it's been a little tricky. I'm trying to still work out the whole connection thing with how I'm going to do all this, because it's like it's on a screen on TikTok and then I'm live on here, and I'm like, I got to work some things out, but we're working on it. But I just, again, thank you so much for coming on. If you guys are interested in following the show anymore, or anything else, interested in any of the other stuff that we've got going on, sugarrosemusic.com is my website. You can always go there and kind of check everything out as well. But we will be on again next Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for Fill Your Cup Motivational Mondays with Sugar Rose, the People's Patriot Project, and We P3 Radio. And we love y'all. Thank you again so much for coming on. And again, you guys, hinderless22.org, go check them out. They are just an amazing, amazing group of people. So thank you again so much for coming on. And
Thank you.
we will be chatting soon. All right. Thanks, everybody. Remember, one family, one mission, one fight. We are all here for one another. Have a great evening.